Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Can't believe another weekend is over. Anyone spotted the amazingly powerful full moon we had on Saturday? Um, yeah, for those of you who is joining me live, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. If you are tuning in, watching the replay, still let me know where you're tuning in from. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Rita Husken, and I'm dialing in from Norway, Stavanger. It's going to be a lot of traveling coming up. Super excited. Next week, actually, I'm going to Iceland, to Reykjavik, where I have been a judge for Nordic Women in Technology, and there is a big award ceremony taking place. So I'm excited for that, to hand out some awards. There are some absolute rock star women that is ready to receive their awards. So I'm very excited for that. So again, let me know, where are you calling in from? And I love this music. let me turn it down a bit. Beautiful. So, we're continuing this conversation around, being on a mission, and but I'm also stepping in and talking even more about serendipity. I was thinking about this weekend, where in my life can I say that what are the click moments? What are the serendipity moments that have been showing up in my life that has had a profound impact of who I am today, what I'm doing, and on the lives of others? And I want to talk a bit about that because I believe there might be many of us, and I say us because I get to be aware of myself because I know the power of this. Yet sometimes there are voices inside of us that can be louder than the moment in front of us, that hold us back from actually taking action. So back many, many years ago, this is probably the most profound serendipity moment that I experienced. This was it was actually 1995. My son Benjamin, he was then 6 months. He was struggling with something called Clostridium, and Clostridium is a bacteria that we have, but if you have been on an antibiotic, it gets out of sync. And for infants, that is life-threatening. So Benjamin, he had this for I think it was the third or the fourth time, and you can imagine, and he's only 6 months old, and he was treated for pneumonia, and we were being told that to get ready for maybe to lose him. And the interesting thing is what I did. I mean, we're in the hospital at the children's ward, and he's in a special place. And in that moment, instead of going in and just sitting and being with Benjamin, I suddenly have an urge to just go to this kind of parent room. And I sit down there. There's nobody in the room. And in front of me, there is a magazine. This magazine, it's in Norwegian, it's called Illustrert Vitenskap, something like Illustrated Science in English. And of all the things I pick up this one. And I'm just sitting there, I'm just flicking through it. And I suddenly see this very short little column, not big, very much hidden. And I see a headline about cows suffering from Clostridium, successful something. Professor in Bergen has discovered a possible new treatment on cows. Anyway, so I read this article, oh, tiny little thing, and it says that they had taken feces from a healthy cow, created a cocktail, and flushed it in the bum to an infected cow. I remember I grabbed the magazine, I went to the doctor, and I want to share because this is what I remember very vividly what happened. I take this magazine as I'm going to see the doctor because it's like I have a solution. Let's do this on Benjamin. There is another voice inside of my head that basically say, how stupid can you be? How stupid can you be, Rita? Do you seriously think that the doctors are not doing everything they can? Do you think that you will have something to bring to them because you've seen this article? I had massive voices that showed up in my head, basically holding me back. But because I was on a mission to save my son there and then, we were in the final kind of phase. I went to the doctor. I showed him the magazine. I said, I want us to do this on Benjamin. I want to take feces from me or poo from me and treat him. And I remember the doctor, he was like, what are you even thinking? We're doing everything we can for your son. And I understood that. But what I did tell him was that, can you please at least contact this professor in Bergen and tell him the case? And he's probably thought that, well, at least I can do that, but I'm not going to do the treatment. Anyway, long story short, the professor in Bergen said, go ahead and do this because this child will most likely not survive. There's nothing to lose. We've already started to try this out on elderly people with high success rate. So we did that. Within 2 hours, my son was healed. 2 hours. That's a click moment. It's a out of the blue opportunity to do something. That saved my son. In 2016, I remember reading in one of the biggest financial newspaper in Norway, where they basically were referring to a 20-year-old case being opened up, and now this treatment is used at all hospitals in Norway using feces to treat this instead of using antibiotic. And on 17, I read an article, got a report from the US that it was FDA approved in the US to now use the same method, and now they've created this pill. I have received messages from people around the world with high level of gratitude because they've used this treatment and they knew where it came from. I didn't invent it at all. It was this professor who started to play with it. But what I did was that I used it as an opportunity to say, hey, let's do it. Let's try it. I was willing to go ahead. Where do you experience in your life that you might come across something that you are like, this is it? And then you have a voice inside your head that says, nah, who am I? What a stupid idea. What a stupid idea. It's very common. Very common. I get to work around this with clients, and they've had very often moments where it's like, oh wow, that was the opportunity I had, but I didn't grab it. I didn't use it because I thought, nah, not going to work. The difference when we are on a mission is that we are looking at something greater than ourselves. In this case, back then, it was my son, right? I'm on the mission to save his life. I'm on the mission. And this mission was very short mission. So we have short missions, we have long-term mission that leads to an overall vision, right? So I want to invite you in and think about what mission are you on? If you feel like you don't know what you're fighting for, you don't know what you're driven to do, I invite you to sit down and check in with yourself. Recall a time in your life when you were on a mission and nothing could hold you back. It could be going back in the old days in when you were young and you were just doing it. Even you might be kind of punished for it. Even you would have your parents up against you, or even sometimes it could be you were standing on the barricades, even you knew that fellow students might going against you. Maybe it was making decisions of your studies, that you studied something that nobody else were going to do. Maybe it was traveling somewhere or leaving somewhere, or leaving to, or change of something, whatever it is, but something that was just a must for you. I invite you to go back and ask yourself, what was it that I felt that activated me so strongly? For me, as I've shared many times before, if anyone tells me that's impossible, well, that is a trigger for me. Nobody's going to tell me something is impossible. Sometimes I want people to actually say that to me, because then I know nothing is going to hold me back, right? So this is also an opportunity for us to step out of our comfort zone, because when we see an opportunity, the comfort zone can be ask somebody else, what do you think? Can I do this? That is staying inside your comfort zone, because you, in one way, don't believe that you have the resources yourself to make that decision. So now you're always checking in with somebody else. And the problem with that is, I'm not saying not to ask for help, because I believe in that's important. But the problem with that, handing it over to somebody else, is that they don't see or feel what you see and you feel. They are not triggered by the same thing. They might have a limiting idea, something that is holding them back, because if you bring an idea to them, they know that they wouldn't be able to do it. So now what you're experiencing is them coming from an angle of thinking, well, I couldn't do it. They're not thinking like that them to themselves, but subconsciously. So now you might be held back from one of the biggest successes moving forward that you could ever dream about. So sometimes do it, take the first step, and then start talking about it. Believe that this can happen. I want this to happen. This is it. I'm going to make it happen. Even if people don't listen to me, even if somebody says no, even if I'm going to do this. That, my friend, is you stepping out of your comfort zone and doing it. Be aware of the voice that is holding you back, playing you safe. Don't go there. That is dangerous. They know more than you. That voice is just there to keep you safe. But what took you here, it's not going to take you there. So if you're onto something new, if you are restless where you are, if you feel like there must be more to things than this, let's reactivate that mission. So with that, I want again to invite you, get on the wait list for my roundtable conversation discussion, which is going to be a small, intimate group, multiple of them actually, where we are diving in on liberate your mission, elevate your life, no matter what. Because that's the thing, no matter what, we want things to happen. And we want them to happen now, right? Curious to comment. Please do reach out. And I also want to say this, talk about serendipity. I'm going to India. I'm going to Bangalore to meet with Kushal, who's now 3.5, and his family, because his dad decided to reach out to me on LinkedIn and say, hey, can we have a talk? And from there, we've got to transform a child's life and a family's life. So all that in a moment of sometimes saying yes, even with might be a bit skeptical. Have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay? Bye for now.